Hi, I'm Mike Stanzik, and this is Water Polo Student, where we're students of the game. Today we're going to look at starts and restarts, and this is part of a series where we're going to look at specific small parts of the water polo game and get into a little bit of detail as we further investigate what it means to watch water polo, what it means to play water polo. So let's get started. Looking at our screen, we have a nice water polo pool with all the markings included, and also we have our two teams lined up to take the start, or we call the swim off or the sprint. And so I just want to kind of take a look at some of this and to get a little bit of the sort of vocabulary down as we're looking. All right, let's just go ahead and set this up here. So first we have the blue team, and they're on the goal line. So we're looking at this kind of area right here, right where that white lane line goes through. Right, so that's that goal line. Now the rule is that no part of your body that is above the surface of the water can be in front of the goal line. And we'll look at that a little bit more closely. But essentially, this means that your head is on the lane line. So everybody's head here is on the lane line, and then from that point, they're going to do their swim off. Okay, same thing for the white team over here. Now, if you are in a situation where you have a nice pool, where you have a release mechanism, then this actually looks a little bit different because you're going to have the ball released in the middle. So we'll have some of the teammates who will swim right out of the goal here to go ahead and capture that ball. But in most of the situations, at least that I'm involved in, we're in pools that the referee throws the ball in, and they throw the ball in right here on the edge of the pool. Now it's right at that location because this is opposite the side of the bench. And so the bench is indicated by the re-entry areas right here that we can see marked in red, or the penalty areas if you prefer to think of them that way. And so these are always next to the bench, so the bench is going to be right there as well. Again, if you guys couldn't see that, just these guys in the corner. These are the re-entry areas, and that's where the bench side is going to be as well. So the ball here is going to be dropped in right about here, okay? Now, how does this start? So first off, the referees or the goal judges are going to make sure that everybody is lined up properly. So if someone is not lined up properly, the ball, they'll be warned, and if they do it again, then the ball will be turned over to the other team. The same thing if they leave early. So if they leave early, the ball will be turned over to the other team. There is no warning on that one. And so that is the situation. So if everything goes to plan and people leave at the right time, what does that look like? Well, the referee is going to raise their hand vertically once everybody is set up, and then they're going to drop their hand and blow the whistle, sort of like the dropping of a flag. It's like, let's go. Started everybody off. And so at that point, everybody can start swimming to the ball, and the sprint is on. Now, the clock doesn't start until possession is gained. So essentially when someone touches the ball, then the clock will start and the game will start, the period will start for that. Okay. So let's just take a look at what that might look like for our two teams here. And so let's go ahead and switch over to, oops, no, I don't want the, okay, that looks good. All right, so we're going to really focus on the top two players on both sides here. The rest of these players are going to be moving up the pool, but they're also going to look at what happens to possession. They don't want to swim all the way up the pool and then find out that they didn't get the ball. And so the people that are really looking to get the ball at this point are these top two. And so this is the sprinter, and so we can see they're going to sprint up to try to get that ball. And then the second player is often called the trailer or a follower or a follow, and so they're going to be swimming up to get the ball passed to them once the sprinter gets possession. So they're going to follow a little bit behind, like that. Okay. And at the same time, this is happening with the white team as well. And so if I go ahead and draw those arrows in for the white team, we have the sprinter approaching, and then we have the follow. Now again, I said these other players are moving up the pool, but I'm not going to really focus on them because they're not so involved in this restart. So this start. Okay. So they're looking to attack this ball, and it looks like just from my drawing here that blue might be a little bit ahead. And so let's go ahead and move our players up, and so we can take a look at what that might look like. So clear the screen, and then we'll go ahead and move our players. So we have our blue players kind of up in this position here. White players maybe a little bit behind that, like so. Okay. And so I'm going to move them up just a little bit more and say that blue is capturing the ball. They're just a little bit ahead right there. So the sprint takes place. Blue is capturing the ball. Now when blue goes to capture that ball, they're going to really reach out far and try to get that ball. And instead of just stopping at that point and holding the ball, they're going to pass that ball. And so we'll pass the ball over to our teammate here. And so there's going to be this pass to the teammate like so. Okay. And so that pass will occur, and that teammate will get that ball. And so let's go ahead and show that. So that ball now is here in this teammate's possession. Okay. And so that all occurs pretty quickly. Now the question is, what happens next? Well, blue is on offense, so white's on defense. Now, you might think that we have to be in communication on the defensive side now. What's going to happen on the defensive side? The blue side's moving up into their offensive position. The white side has to take in those defensive roles. But still looking at these four players on the top, that's really what the important part is. Now, what confusion sometimes happens in this situation is that both of the defensive players go for the ball. And so then we have a situation where we have this player goes for the ball. This player who's lined up in the second position thinks that, oh, that's my guy, so I'll go for the ball as well. And if this happens, notice that both of the defenders for these two people are covering just the one person. And so what we get is that that second person can move up, and they can be open over here in front of the goal. And so then all we need is a little bit of a pass that ball, and they're open to take a shot. And so this is not ideal. And so what we talk about is on that swim off, that on the defensive side, you have to do a switch. And so what does that look like? Well, first off, I like to say that the sprinter is going for the ball. So the sprinter will always be going for the ball. If they got the ball, great, they got the ball. If they didn't get the ball, they follow the ball. So the sprinter is going to follow the ball, and then they're going to set up on their defense right here on that player, the trailer or the follower on the blue team. And the follower on the white team is going to pick up the sprinter on the other team. And so they're going to start to drop back or, meet up. So there's maybe at this point just kind of making sure their hips are up, and they're going to be able to move back with this guy that's just did that sprint to make sure that they're in a good position. So I'm just going to kind of draw them as, moving up just a tiny bit right there. Okay. And then on the blue side, that sprinter is going to try to go ahead and, oops, what I got there, yeah, is going to go ahead and try to get advantage. So they're going to continue to swim up the pool as well, just like they were, right? And so then this white defender will meet them and then follow along. So now they're guarded. And so as you can see in this situation, when that switch occurs, that both the blue players, both the blue players end up being guarded. And so that's going to be a good defensive start for the period. Okay. I think that's all I want to really talk about at this moment for that start. I do want to go back just a little bit and talk about when the players are on the goal line, a couple different body positions that you might see, and something that you might have a preference for as an athlete. And so let's go ahead and clear the screen, and let me just move these guys back out of the way. I'm going to draw in the center right here for you guys. So, get this out, put this out. Get out of here. Okay. So I want to just do a little bit of freehand drawing of a stick figure, so bear with me. Let's see, what color should we give them? Maybe we'll go with some purple or pink. That looks good. Fuchsia? Is it fuchsia? So let's go ahead and draw the surface of the water. Oops, don't want that. I want this. Okay, there we go. So there's the water surface. And then I also want to mark the the goal line. And so imagine that this is the goal line. We're going to now look at the player. So their head has to be before the goal line. And so in this case, we're looking at swimming to the right. And so here is their head. There it is. They're happy. Yay. Okay. And so how is their body located, or what are they doing here? So I said none of their head can be ahead of the goal line, but underneath you can be. And so one way that you can line up is by having your hips ahead of you and kind of leaning your body forward past the goal line. And so it might look something like this, okay? And then you might have like one hand in front ready to start pulling, and then one hand maybe balancing yourself in the back there, okay? So the advantage of something like this is that you already have part of your body ahead. The disadvantage is that you have to do something sort of tricky to start moving in that direction. So the idea is that this becomes the pivot point right here around your hips, and what you're going to try to do is rotate your body over that pivot point when you start. And so how do you keep that in that location? By doing your kick. And so this will allow you to flip over the hips and start on your way. Okay, so that is one position that people will do that they prefer. And not to say that that's the best position, but that is just one. The second position, that is the common one. You don't want to be standing straight up and down because you will have no ability to start moving. So the second one is to be hips up and have them behind you. And so in this case, you are really ready to go for your kick. Oops, I don't know what I did there. Okay, that's it. Most of my people are a little bit broken when I draw them. That's okay. So you're set up to take your kick, and you have your hand up in front of you ready to take a nice pull, and the other one's kind of keeping you balanced and that you're going to start that swim. And so in this case, you are trying to move forward, so that kick, like a big breaststroke kick, is going to give you a nice push forward. But again, your body is much more to the left here, so you have to cover that distance to get your hips up to where you were when you had them in the front. But this is a faster and easier and more comfortable position to get moving, and you're right in your freestyle stroke position. So people like one, people like the other. It's up to you, but I thought I'd just kind of share that with you. Okay. So that's it for the sprint. Let's talk about a restart. So in a restart, a goal has just been scored, and so everybody's lining up at half tank. That's the idea. Okay. Now, I'll get these guys out here, and then we'll talk about what happens. I'm not going to talk about setting up the offense or the defense at all. I'm just kind of setting up the restart itself. So, when we get the restart, typically people will line up 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, 2 in the middle. And that's where they're going to end up on the offensive side. These 2 people will be on the right side. Let's put blue on offense. Okay, so we'll put the ball in blue's hands. Okay, and we'll put blue on offense on the left side. And they're going to go to left side. These guys go to right side. Typically, these guys will go straight up the center. And so white is just defending them. And actually what white is doing here is kind of marking up their man. So I'll ask my athletes to mark up their man, so they mark up with someone right in front of them. Now this is sort of a beginning way of defending, but it works. And so the markup on this is typically staggered like that. So this person will be waiting for the front person to come in and guard them. Typically that will be the center. So that's what we're seeing here in terms of setting up the restart. I also want you to note that all white is on the right side, all blue is on the left side of the half pool line. This is one of the requirements. You can't be in the other side of the pool when the restart occurs. Next, I want to talk about the restart itself. So a restart starts with a free throw. And so you can't attack this person after the whistle is blown until they throw the ball. And so they have a free throw. Now, typically what we see is that this front center person has the ball initially, and they'll throw it back. But it doesn't have to be that way. Anybody on the offensive team can restart the ball. It just is most often this is the way we see it. And so what we'll see here is that there'll be a pass from the player right in the center here back. Oops, sorry, let me turn that on. Back to the player behind. And now they're on the top and they have the ball, and then everybody moves up the pool to set up their positions. And so now we'll have people move up, move up, move up, move up, move up into positions until they set up sort of that umbrella look that we saw in the cheat sheet with this player here in the center. That person will move up with the ball. Okay, and then defense will move along with them so that they are in the correct positions as well. So that's a restart. I think I got everything that I wanted to say. My name is Mike Stanzik, and this has been Water Polo Student. Till next time, bye.